Our first afternoon speaker is Dr. Suresh Swarnapuri, a distinguished Ayurvedic physician, educator, and leader. He is the president of the Europe Ayurveda Academy in France, the executive director of the Association Ayurveda Academy in London, and the president of the Croatian Ayurveda Association. Dr. Swarnapuri earned his medical doctor degree in Ayurveda with special focus on Panchakarma detox procedure and the subjects of head and neck and neurology. He has extensive clinical, teaching, and leadership experience, having worked in Ayurvedic clinics across Europe and India. He received multiple international awards for excellence. Dr. Swarnapuri is not here with us online today. However, he has provided us with his pre-recorded presentation. So, let's start the recording.
Namaste. First of all, I'm very thankful to Dr. Thomas for inviting me to speak for the international conference, which is going to be held in October 2025 in Prague. Unfortunately, I could not travel to Prague due to my earlier fixed schedules in Paris. So, but still, I would like to speak on some topic which is very interesting for us to know. The topic is the power of the mind. So the power of the mind is very essential for us to understand. And let's go through the PowerPoint presentations which I prepared. And it's very essential these days about to know your own mind. You know, most of us, we do not know where is our mind, isn't it? So let's explore the power of the mind today. Well, before going to that, let me introduce myself. I'm Dr. Suresh Swarnapuri, President, Europe Ayurveda Academy, France, and Executive Director, Association Ayurveda Academy, London, UK, and President, Hrvatski Ayurveda Institute, Croatia. So let's go into the topic which we need to discuss today. And Ayurveda explores the mind quite beautifully than most of the psychiatrists does. Let's see how is it. So the first, it says that Ayusho Vedaha, Ayurvedaha. Ayush means lifespan, isn't it? Basics of Ayurveda it is. What is the reason for we need to know about Ayurveda and what it makes us to understand what is Ayurveda. The lifespan between, lifespan means it's between the birth and death, the distance traveled by a consciousness with the human body from the birth to the death. It's Ayurveda, isn't it? So in Ayurveda also we call it as Chaturvimsati Purusha. Here, which involves the entire physicality with the mind and the consciousness. Together it's called as Chaturvimsati Purusha. But where does the mind stands in the body? That's the big question. Today there is no measurement which can understand where is the mind, isn't it? The mind is everywhere, as we all know. The mind is everywhere in the body. It's not just in the brain, but it's in everywhere. We have around billions of neurons in the body, in the brain, isn't it? And if you wanted to calculate the neurons in the brain, it takes about 37 years totally. But where does the mind present? Does the mind present in the brain or in the body? According to Ayurveda, it clearly suggests that Hridayasthanam, that means the mind, the seat of the manas, the seat of the Atma, is present in the Hridayasthana, means the heart. But when you compare to the modern science, it says that it is in the brain. But in Ayurveda, it says that it is in the heart. Yes, we all know that the heart is a tubular structure. Yet, there is other side of the heart where you can find manas, that is mind, and the Atma, that is consciousness, present in the heart. So We begin today with the topic with understanding that the mind is present basically in the heart. Also, it's present all over the body, because even though you don't see anything, the body can see, because it has got mind. It can perceive. Perception is another integral aspect of the mind, perceiving through the sensory organs. Skin is also a sensory organ, isn't it? Skin perceives. Skin not only it is a uh, not only it is it understands the thermoregulatory, but also because the mind is present in the skin, we could also think skin also a part of sensory system, isn't it? Sensory system, isn't it? Right. So let's go to and of course we all know these basic structures of what is Ayurveda and what for it is, happiness, unhappiness. I don't want to go into the details. Let's go into the mind directly. We all know the goal of Ayurveda, swasthasya, swasthyaksha, rakshana, matrasya, prakara, visamanam. We all know that. So I don't want to go in details of that. The goal of the Ayurveda is to protect the healthy person and also to bring back the diseased person to the normal state. That's the goal of Ayurveda. We all know that. So let's not discuss about that too much. Now, this is a very important part. When you wanted to understand the mind, you need to understand which Mahabhuta plays a role. Mind is emptiness, isn't it? There is no physical shape for a body, for a mind. And there is no shape for the consciousness. Can we see the mind? No. So what is its could be related to? It is Akasha Mahabhuta, which is empty. Mind is also empty, isn't it? Mind is also empty. So how does the Pancha Mahabhutas place on the mind? It's very important for us to understand, isn't it? So let's see the Pancha Mahabhutas. We all know Prithvi, Ap, Tejo, Vayu, Akasha. That's the five Mahabhutas, which makes the human body part of the universe, isn't it? Yada Pinde, Tada Brahmande, we say. We all know these are the basic things. Everybody knows this by this time. So let's go to the other part here. So we know that buddhi, I always joke that when you are above the level of your intellect, you become Buddha. When you are below the intellect, then you become a fool. The intellect becomes a landmark for the decision taking decision taken by human beings. It's an intellect process, isn't it? Intellect, it's present in the mind, isn't it? Intellect, it's a continuity process of the information which is received from the mind. So here it says that intellect and discrimination. Of course, we all know that intellect is for the discrimination, isn't it? Manas, ahankara, chitta. Chitta is the consciousness. Manas is the externally presented, which is externally, if you see all our five sensory organs, they are externally projected, isn't it? None of them are introverted. None of them are connected to the internal organs. There is no connection between the external five sensory organs within the internal organs, isn't it? How could have been? It could have been fantastic if they are connected within our body. Unfortunately, it is not connected. That's the whole problem. That's why connecting internal, the only way to connect inside our body is the process of meditation, process of yoga, process of pranayama, all these things which makes us to connect inside. Otherwise, we are connected externally. People are suffering because of the connecting with the outer world. That comes, can we say manas, the mind is the essential part of the infrastructure of the body? Yes, it's a basic infrastructure of the body. It's an internal organ. Yet it is projected outside the body. So all the sensory organs, whether it's eyes for vision, and for nose for smelling, and ears for hearing and taste, all these things, sensory sensations with the skin, all the perceptions goes through the mind. Without the mind, you can't perceive. Okay, structurally, physiologically, we may think when you see an object, the visual process goes into the brain. In the brain, it will become transformation. But who does this? Who does these things? It is the mind which discriminates the perceptions of whatever we have perception outside the body, isn't it? So let's see the manas. This is an importer. Manas is an importer. It brings all the information from the outside to the body. Then if there is no mind, we cannot do any activities at all. All the physiological activities will get stopped. It doesn't matter. You have a consciousness. You have all the heart, brain, everything. If there is no mind, do you function? No, we cannot function because all the things, happiness, unhappiness, sorrow, making these things, families, attachments, everything is coming of the mental construct, it is called as. It's a construction of the mind. So the entire lifestyle process is a construction of the mind. So the mind plays an important role. Does the mind makes you happy? Not necessary. Does the mind makes you unhappy? Most likely, isn't it? So we need to understand the role of the mind actually, isn't it? Now we'll go to the next part. There are two types of, I told you the mind is it's a kind of dual organ it is, isn't it? Dual organ. Of course, dual organ, Ubhayandriya, it's called as Ubhaya means two. It plays a two role. One is it connects it for the external world and connects with the internal world. So it is like a kind of it, it plays a balancing act between the external world and the internal world, isn't it? Externally, can you see the yes, externally there is a consciousness is present, but mind cannot perceive the consciousness. But mind works with the consciousness internally. Mind works with the sensory organs externally. Mind works with the consciousness internally. That's why it is both Ubhayendriya. Also, mind is very important for the physical movement of the body. Every action of the body is supported by mind. So all the reflexes takes place in the physical body. It's because of the mind. Suppose I see my mobile here. I say this is my mind goes. My mind says. My mind perceives it is a visual object, right? But my intellect says what it is, what not it is. Can I touch it or not? This discrimination is done by intellect. So then the process of the information goes to the next level is the identity. We call it as ahankara. It's a human body. It is ahankara means it's not ego. It's a human body, the identity of a human being, isn't it? Then, because of the mind, we are able to understand the physical process in the body, the movement of the body, locomotion of the body, everything we understand through the mind. So this is very important. For you have an injury, suppose you have an injury to the joint or a hand, anywhere in the body. Without the mind, you cannot understand where is the pain, isn't it? What does it mean? So the mind is present all over the body. If it is only in the brain, then you will not feel any pain in the joints, isn't it? So like that it is. So Jnanendriya, mind is responsible for analyzing the information received. We already discussed about that. That's why it's called as dual role. It works with the motor system. It works with the sensory system, isn't it? So the mind plays an important role between the nervous system and other physical process in the body. But yet, can we see the mind? Physically not possible. But can you observe the mind? Yes. By its actions, we can observe where is the mind. What does it does? I'm speaking to you now. It's my mind which is making me to understand that I need to speak at this level and I need to record this. It is my intellect which make me to talk today, isn't it? That's how the mind functions. And that's the most important here. That's what here again they mention. The connectivity, the connectivity between the mind, intellect, manas, buddhi, ahankara, chitta. Manas, mind, buddhi, intellect, ahankara, identification of a human being. I am Dr. Suresh. This is my identity. Without my identity, I cannot explore the functions of my body. I cannot understand. Nobody can understand what I am. Isn't it? Identification. If I identify I am a Dr. Suresh, still I am identifying who I am, then there is no end for that. Like our Ramana Maharshi says, isn't it? Who I am. That's, of course, spiritual way of understanding. We'll come to the psychophysiological process of the influence of the mind, isn't it? So manas, buddhi, ahankara, chitta. And what is the beauty of mind is it stores the memory, isn't it? Memory is very, very important content in the mind, outer mind, middle mind, internal mind. Manas, mind contains the memory, and the intellect can also stores the memory. Also, the identity of a human being stores the memory. But where is the mind is not the present. The area is called as consciousness. It's completely devoid of the memory. That's why we do meditation to reach the higher state of consciousness where nothing is there, completely emptiness. Absolute state of peace. Whenever you have a memory, there is always a problem. So all the sufferings are related to, are coming out of memory. So that's why rishis and all those people, they practice meditation hours together, years together. They consume very less food because the meditative process, once you connect to your own consciousness, there is no pain, there is no sufferings, there is no feeling of existence. This is how the rishis were focusing on this. Particularly, can we balance the mind? It's not possible, frankly speaking. We are connected to the mind most of the time, but rishis are connected to the consciousness. That is the difference between us and rishis. We are suffering most of the time because we are connected to the mind. And rishis are peacefully meditating in Himalayas because they are connected to the consciousness. The other point is the sattva, rajas, tamo gunas. These are the three characters, mind and the three characters. We all know this. These are the three gunas. The doshas of the mind are rajas and tamas. Sattva is not a dosha. It is a rajas and tamas, which is rajas is active form. If there is no rajas, the three are important for our survival. They are not bad. They are important for survival. But if they go out of balance, then becomes the problem. Anything which is moderate, which is always good for the body. That's why in yoga, Ayurveda, it says, Ati yoga, mithya yoga, ayoga. Ati yoga means doing excessively. Mithya yoga means mistakenly doing. Ayoga means not doing at all. The same applies to the rajas, tamas, or sattva gunas. Rajas is especially necessary. Suppose I am talking to you today, it's because of rajasic quality. Otherwise, I cannot talk to you. Isn't it? I'm going to sleep. I'm sleeping because of tamas. If there is no tamas, I cannot sleep, isn't it? So these are all basic qualities of them. But what happens if they go in excess format? Then they create usually problems with the mental disorders, they are mental faculties, basically sattva, rajas, tama gunas, they're faculty of mind. Mental faculties they are, isn't it? So like that it is. And of course, sattvic, rajasic, tamasic gunas. Now, vata also relation. We are trying to explain the relation of this vata with the sattvic mind, rajasic mind, and tamasic mind. How the vata is interpretation. We are trying to interpret vata with the sattva. Basically, it's a creative. Vata is very good, actually. It's very good. Without vata, we cannot live. That's why in Ayurveda say, pittam pangu, kafam pangu, pangavo, maladatavaha. Because if there is no vata, rest everything is handicapped. They will not function anymore without vata. That's why this relationship with the sattva and vata is a creative, impact, enthusiastic, genuine, all these things. Rajasic, very nervous, anxious, maniac, hyper, all the time worrying. Tamasic is depressed. Most of the psychological problems, bipolar diseases, ADHD, all the problems. It is Pitta, very strong and clear thinking, spiritual teacher, angry, hot-tempered, judgmental. In the case of Rajasic, violent and hateful and very aggressive, very vindictive. It's a kind of violent characters we've seen in the Tamasic. We see in our daily life also. We see a lot of people this kind of vindictive, always taking revenge on others. It's a tamasic quality. And kapha, nurturing, peaceful, loving cap. Kapha is a very more of a kind nature. But in rajasic, in compared to rajasic, it becomes attached to the things, objects, and stubborn possessiveness. In tamasic, usually the kapha is lethargic. It creates lethargy when it is excessive form, isn't it? Attachment to the pleasures, comfort, Most of the sometimes we can see these kind of people also. They like to have a comfort. All the time they are in comfort zone, isn't it? That could lead to diseases. Kapha rogas, vata rogas, pitta rogas. If it is excess, then we have a vata rogas, pitta rogas, kapha rogas, the diseases. And when it comes to we as we understand sattva, rajas, tama gunas, we discussed already. Sattva is the highest state of consciousness, isn't it? More peaceful, more calm, and the entire the mind and the brain is in balanced condition. There is a coordination between the mind, body, and consciousness. A perfect, harmonious coordination between the mind, body, and the spirit is sattva. If there is an incoordination between the mind and the body, or mind and the consciousness, or mind, body and the consciousness, body and the mind, then it leads to doshas. That is, those are rajasic and tamasic. Pure imbalances it is. Inertia, imbalances, all those things. It's physically, normally healthy people also could have these issues. But when it becomes abnormal, a vata person can become pitta, could get pitta problem. A pitta person could get into the kapha problem. So anything can happen between this when there is an imbalances is going on. And usually, I told you earlier, and there is even this Hatha Yoga, Mithya Yoga, all these things happening, then there is a pure imbalance of vata, imbalance of pitta and kapha takes place. This is a very important area of understanding the influence of Panchamahabhutas over the mind. Very interesting, isn't it? The space, the Akasha Mahabhuta, I told you, the emptiness it is. Our visual, if you see with our mind, if you see with our eye, you can see the object, I can see the mobile, I can see my laptop, I can see my structures, but I cannot see the space between them. Can you see a space? Can you see a emptiness? You cannot see. You cannot see a space, isn't it? There is a space in front of us. There is a space inside us. There is a space above us. There is a space between the two human beings. Can we see the space? No, not possible. That's how the relationship of the Panchamahabhutas present in our body. Right. So the mind is creation primarily of space element. We discussed it now. And a mind coordinating the body and sense. The mind is very important for we already discussed about that. And basically mind also makes a Vayu. That's a Vayu Mahabhuta. Influence of Vayu Mahabhuta, they're trying to explain us. It helps us to make emotions, thinking process regarding emotional thinking, all the time, excessive thinking, not thinking. All these actions are related to Vayu. And Agni, how does the Agni has a influence? Fire, how does the Fire has the influence on the mind. See, we all know Panchamahabhutas acting on the body in different organs it makes, but many of us do not know the influence of Panchamahabhutas over the mind, isn't it? So the mind has its fine or light through the which it can perceive things with. This gives mind quality of illumination and the capacity of misunderstanding. So we are getting the visual process of the objects through the mind. So mind works with has the influence of Agni. And water, because of the water quality, water influence, Jala Mahabhuta influence on the mind, we have the quality of emotion, empathy, kindness, feeling. This happens because of influence of Jala Mahabhuta on the mind. Earth. So we have also a earth element, isn't it? It carries the weight of the earth, the memory, attachment to the people, attachment to your home, attachment to your car, attachment to your motorbike, attachment to your money. All this comes because of the earth element influence on the mind. Mind contains also the elements within according to the different qualities we all know. Then the three layers we already discussed earlier, the inner mind and outer mind, all those things. There is a continued flow of information from the external mind to the internal mind. So they work on daily basis with emotions and all those things. So we understand this, and intermediate mind. There is an intermediate mind. What is it? Mind is it tries to take the information from outside and transfers into the inner mind. That is exactly to the consciousness. The information goes to the consciousness. All the things, see, we perceive through the mind, the objects, visual objects, hearing, sensory, everything. But where do you experience? This the point nobody knows. In Ayurveda, very clearly it explained, we experience in consciousness. We perceive through the mind, but experiences happens in the consciousness. So intelligence is a part of our consciousness, articulated rationally, and therefore brought to light the greater and unarticulated part of the mind. The deeper the consciousness, the intermediate mind is our capacity to bring outer impressions to the inside and inner tendencies to the outside. So the mind plays a dual role between the external world and internal world. That's what we are trying to understand in this segment. A deeper consciousness, inner mind is almost it's a deeper consciousness. We discussed about that earlier. And what to do if you have a problem with the mind. Ayurveda very nicely they suggested psychotherapy. It's called as Sattvavajaya Chikitsa. The entire plan of treating the mind is to bring out from the state of Rajas and Tamas to the state of Sattvic. So because they're excessive they're all in excessive disbalances of Rajasic and the Tamasic to bring back to Sattvic. So for that we have many treatments has been mentioned in Ayurveda. So by improving reading books, gaining knowledges, Jnana Vijnana, learning from intellectuals, this will help one extent. Dhi Dhruti Smriti, and the power of reasoning, power of firmness, constancy, the power of recollection. This to be maintained by avoiding prajnaparada, means mistaken intellect. Not doing mistakes repeatedly. And it can be achieved by cordial, good relationship with the patients and chintya, thinking in a proper way and analyzes in a proper way, speculation of knowledge of imaginary objects, dhyaya, distinct thoughts, and sankalpa, decision. These are some psycho-supportive techniques. These are the things we learn, like assurance, guidance, love, suggestions, education, awareness, induction of verbal, physical, and mental shock, replacement of emotions, psychoshock therapy, and recreational therapy. All these things are mentioned like Shirodhara, Abhyanga, Nasya, Karanapurana. All these treatments also acts as a psychotherapeutic procedures. Also, it's mentioned in Bhagavad Gita, Abhyasa Vairagyam. Vairagya means dispassion, isn't it? Desires are passion. Vairagya is dispassion. I don't want anything. I don't need anything. That also creates a self-contented. And practicing this, practicing sattvic qualities every day makes you, even mentally, you're much better. Okay. And with this, there are some herbs also available. Brahmi, Sankapushpi, Ashwagandha, all these Jatamamsi, all these herbs makes your mind much more calmer and peaceful. The difference between a psychiatry and psychotherapy in Ayurveda is simple. In psychiatry, they treat the brain for the mind. But in Ayurveda Sattva Chikitsa, we treat only mind and the brain. So we don't disturb the brain cellular structure. But in modern science, the chemicals destroy the brain cells to treat the mind. With this, I would like to once again thank you to Dr. Thomas for giving me this opportunity to present the power of the mind today. And thank you very much from Europe Ayurveda Academy, Association Ayurveda Academy London, and WHC Ayurveda Association in Croatia. Thank you very much. Namaste.
So that was Dr. Swarnapuri and his valuable contribution to our today's program.